Hey everybody, hope you are doing well. Happy New Year and welcome to the first video of 2022. This is not going to be a crypto video. Instead, I'm going to be responding to a video that I made about a year ago talking about the goals that I wanted to accomplish in 2021, kind of review what worked, what didn't, and what to expect for 2022. This is a video where I just talk and share like a podcast, so feel free to work on anything else while you listen. Now, I haven't posted anything for the past 2 weeks because I was sick. I tested positive. And I've been quarantining in my room for the past 10 days. Today is day 1 of quarantine. Today I found out that I was tested positive, so I'm separated with Stella. This is my sleeping space for who knows how long. Pretty interesting start to the new year. Just from my personal experience, the first 5 days were probably the worst. My body was just cold all the time. I had a ton of body ache, and on top of that, I had huge migraines, and I just wanted to be in bed. And then the next 5 days, mild coughs, everything was okay. But I definitely don't want anyone to get sick or catch this, just because I realized if you do catch it, you got to take work off, and if you got financial responsibilities, it's going to be a burden, right? And so thankfully for myself, I had a lot of passive income streams set aside, so whether I worked or didn't work, I was going to be okay. But I was thinking about like the average American, the average person who catches it and can't work. I thought about people like my mom, my mother-in-law, and I was like, man, it must be really difficult if you're not able to work. So everyone stay safe out there. My wife Stella, she took really good care of me. We had little movie date nights, and she cooked really nice meals, took really good care of me. So thank you, Stella. I was actually quarantining in my office, so I was sleeping down here on this floor on like a pink blanket mat and slept there for 9 days. Thankfully I sleep really well, but overall hope it never happens again. Now at the beginning of 2021, I set 8 goals. Some of them overlap, but I'm going to read them off to you all. First one was to focus on my YouTube channel to upload 1 video a week. Second was to create a screen printing course online. Third was to focus on investing content on my channel, because at that time I wasn't really focusing just on investing content. Fourth was to start my podcast. 5 is to focus on V3 videos, which I'll talk about in just a bit. 6 is identity, which is also my clothing company. 7 to purchase a home, and 8 is to travel. Now, just looking at this list, I'm laughing a little bit just because not all of them happened and a lot has changed within the past year. So let's go over goal number 1. The first goal was to upload 1 video a week. So that means 52 videos in a year, and I counted back and I uploaded a total of 56 videos. So that goal was accomplished, so that I feel really good about that one. And a part of the first goal was to achieve 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2021, and crazy things happened and we achieved 200K. So thank you everybody for your support. The second goal was to create a screen printing course, and I wanted to do this because there just weren't a lot of great courses out there, but YouTube has pretty much taken over my life, so that course no longer happened. Instead, what happened was I started a Patreon group, right? I started a Patreon group and I'm building out a course within that Patreon group. So that, in a sense, I guess kind of replaced goal number 2 in a different way, but for the better. Goal number 3, talk about investing content. Obviously on my channel, I've been focusing only on investing content. Number 4 was to start a podcast. I did start a podcast. I think I only uploaded like 3 episodes, and I realized how hard, creating podcasts are. I prefer to stay in front of a camera and talk like this rather than record a voice episode. It was a lot more difficult than I expected, so I kind of stopped it, and I don't work on it anymore. Maybe I'll revisit in the future, but as of right now, I just have no specific goals with the podcast, so I'm not doing it anymore. Number 5 was V3 videos. Now, outside of YouTube and everything that I do, I also do dance and direct a dance team called V3. We do have a YouTube channel and we'll be uploading several videos this year, so definitely check it out. But at the time, we were going through like a whole rebranding process for V3, and we thought we were going to work on these types of videos where we engage with the team, work on non-dance content videos, but we realized how difficult that was. It was really difficult, especially because that's not how we started. So we completely scratched that, and we're just going to be focusing on dance videos. But I think it was really important that we went through that, because now we know not to do that. Goal number 6 was identity. I was talking about and sharing how, I might restart the company. It's a clothing company that I started a while back, but I'm no longer doing it. We closed the doors. It no longer exists. It's different from my screen printing business. So, there's 2 parts to the clothing part, right? There's a service aspect where I provide services, and there is the clothing aspect where it's it's the brand aspect where we sell our own merch and stuff like that. It takes a lot of time to manage that, and moving forward 2022, 2023, I could see how YouTube is going to take a lot of my time. So in order to balance things out, I had to sacrifice, let it go. And personally for myself, I am okay with that decision because you grow by letting things go, right? I know that sounds counterintuitive. You think that you got to say yes to everything in order to grow. That is true. In the beginning, you say yes to everything, then you learn to say maybe, and you start learning to say no. So I'm at the stage where I'm learning to let go and say no and do things that are important in my life. And letting go of my clothing company was one of the things that I had to do. And I'm in this phase and transition phase where I'm also letting go of my screen printing service business as well. But I'll share more on that in the future. Number 7 was to purchase a house. Right now, we're renting an apartment. I really like where I live right now, but Stella and I, we are looking for a place where we can settle and to raise a family. We've been touring homes for the past year, and there just weren't any good ones out there, but we did find one that they're building right now. It's a newly built condo, and these are really nice condos, and it's the ideal space for myself. I really like it. So if we do move, we'll end up doing it sometime in summer of 2022 or late 2022. So number 7, although it didn't happen in 2021, it probably will happen in 2022. And number 8, travel. Unfortunately, the virus is still going around, so travel has been very difficult. But Stella and I, we're going to be going on an Alaska cruise in May. So I guess that's considered travel in 2022. But I know travel is really difficult right now. But hopefully, when the virus and everything just calms down, travel will be much easier. Next, I want to share my goals for 2022. It's not going to be a huge list like last year. It's going to be much smaller. And the first goal is to go as a full-time content creator on YouTube. Before making the decision to transition into YouTube full-time, I wanted to try it out for an entire year while running my screen printing business to see if, hey, is YouTube a viable, lifestyle business? Can I make a living off of YouTube? So for the entire 2021, I kept track of all my expenses, my revenue, and surprisingly enough, YouTube has far exceeded my expectations. YouTube, although it is my personal brand and everything that I do, it is still part of my business, right? There's my business that has revenue, that has income, and through my business, I get paid out. So everything that I make on YouTube is not essentially my income, but it's my business's income, and my business pays me. So I pretty much pay myself, and I get to decide how much I get paid. So on the revenue side for my business, I'm going to be fully transparent about this. We did over $500,000 for 2021, right? We did, I think, it was somewhere around like $700,000 for 2021, and it was way more than I expected, right? It's more than I've ever done in my life. So I think going into 2022, I have to try to figure out, okay, how can I allocate those funds and give it, right? I don't want to keep all of it because that's way too much money for myself or even for my business. How can I expand? How can I grow? Or how can I just give it away? But just because 2021 was a good year doesn't mean that 2022 will play out the exact same way, right? It might be worse, it might be better, who knows, right? But I think it's important that I free up, space and time to figure out how to manage 2022, because in everything that I do here, I want to make sure that I manage my finances well and be a good steward of everything that I'm given. The second goal is to provide as much value as possible to all of you that have been supportive of this channel. And so I'm not going to just focus on investing content. I'm also open to, vlogging again and just sharing a little bit about my life. I did end up getting a second camera to vlog and document some of the things that I do in my life. But the content that I share, I don't want it to be like, hey, look at my life. This is what I do. Look how great I am. No, none of that stuff, right? I want to make sure that whatever I document and record, it complements the content that I create that brings you value. Whether it works out or not, we'll see how it goes. But that is goal number 2 for 2022. Goal number 3 is to finish building out my crypto course within my Patreon. So, my screen printing course didn't work out in 2021. Instead, what I ended up doing is creating a crypto course within my Patreon group. Now, I've been lagging just because it's been really busy, not just with YouTube, but transitioning out of my business. And so for 2021, I really want to focus on like a whole beginner's course within the Patreon group. And then once that is finished being built out, I do want to host it somewhere like on Teachable where others can learn it. Not only that, I do want to focus on building out the Patreon page as well. So Patreon team, if you're watching this, thank you guys so much for your support. It's been an amazing journey together. If you're interested in checking out the team, the link will be down below, but that is pretty much where I spend most of my time, on the Discord, checking out the charts, looking at the charts, trying to see how I can bring value to the Patreon members. Every time I'm not posting on my public channel, I'm probably posting in my Patreon page. Goal number 4 is to spend time with people. You know, one of the things that I learned in the past 10 years, right? No matter how much success you build up or wealth you build up or what, you know, prestige that you build up, it doesn't really matter in the end. Yes, there's a lot of good that you can do from those things, but I've learned that spending time with people is much more valuable, right? Spending time with the people that you love or people that you care about or people that you wish you could spend more time with. I think these are so much more important than how much you make or what job you have or what you have, right? I know that's really hard with everything that's going around the world, but I feel like that's something that I missed out on the past 10 years, and I want to make sure that, you know, moving on from my 30s to 40s, that I don't mess that up. And hopefully I can document those moments, share them with you, and things that I've learned through those moments. And goal number 5 is just a continuation from 2021, and that is to purchase a home. You know, purchasing a home might seem like a very cliche goal, or you might be thinking, what's the big deal of buying a home? But it really means a lot to me, just because it was a lifelong dream goal of mine as long as I could remember, ever since I was really young. And it's something that I thought about for a very long time, because it seemed like a dream that was unattainable because of, you know, seeing my mom and dad's circumstance and their situation. I felt like it was almost impossible, right? But, you know, as I continue my journey in life, I'm seeing that it's more tangible or achievable, and that is why it's still a goal of mine and one of the reasons why I work the way that I do. Now, outside of that, you know, if this is goal number 6, if there's a goal number 6, right? After I purchase a home, my next goal will be to purchase a home for my mom, and then for my mother-in-law, right? Stella's mom. You know what? I don't know where I'm going with this. I feel like I could talk on forever, but I'll leave it at that. But my last and final goal is to focus and deepen my relationship with God. Now, for those of you that are new or don't know, I am a born-again Christian. So I really do care about my relationship with God and others, and really care about my spiritual growth. And recently we had our V3 retreat. Unfortunately, I was unable to go because I was quarantined, but I was still able to join in through Zoom with the team members. And during the whole reflection process, I realized that year 2021 wasn't the best year for me spiritually. I think if I really reflect, it can be a multiple of different reasons, but I think one of the primary reasons was because I was so work focused and I didn't rest enough, right? Because I was trying to figure out if YouTube was going to work or not. I really doubled down my time on YouTube while trying to run my business, while trying to do a lot of other things in my life. I was juggling way too many things, so I wasn't spending the proper time with God that I should have. Any extra time that I had, I tried to spend it with God, but I was constantly bombarded with requests and meetings and scheduled deadlines. It was, on top of that, I have marriage and I have my ministries and I have my church, and I'm trying to figure out how can I balance and manage all these. I just didn't know how. Because everything was so new to me. But because I have a better grasp and understanding of what to do and what not to do moving forward, I feel like 2022 is going to be a much better year. And I'm sharing this all to you because I want you to be accountable to me. If anything, I'm going to look back in a year and be like, okay, Eddie, you said this in 2021 or 2022. It's 2023 now. Did you really focus on goal number 6, focusing on your relationship with Christ and focusing on others? So that is my final and probably my most important goal, and that is hopefully something that I'll share as I, you know, share my journey aside from investing. You know, just to conclude this video, I know in year 2020 everyone was like, I can't wait till 2020 is over and, you know, 2021 starts, but it seems like a lot of people still didn't have a great 2021, right? And, you know, for those that didn't have a great 2021, you're probably like, I can't wait till it's 2022. Now that it's 2022, things might either be the same as it was 2021 and 2020, or it could be different depending on the choices that you make. You know, people look at the world and say how broken it is, but it's always been broken. And I think through this recent years, it just amplified how broken we are as people. So I believe that it is up to you to decide whether you want to make 2022 a year of growth or a year of just being plateaued or being stale. Because if you're expecting 2022 to be a great year, but you do nothing about it, you'll only be disappointed at the end of the year. year. You know, although every year has a set of its own difficulties, disappointments, and hardships and all that stuff, right? Every year has been a really good year for me because I try to make every year intentional. I know everyone talks about what's the point of making New Year's resolutions, what's the point of making goals, but I find those really, really important because I come back to them every single year and be like, all right, did I actually have a goal, a vision for the year, or did I just aimlessly try to do things to make things work out? So if you're the type of person who's like, what's the point of setting resolutions? What's the point of setting goals? I do want to challenge you, maybe consider having a more open mind and setting challenges and goals this year and the next and the next, and see how that works out in the next decade. Not just a year, we're talking long term, because it's personally worked for me for the past 10 years. And if I never, get close to those goals at the end of the year, well, I can always revisit them for the next year. Well, that'll be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a lot of talking and a lot of sharing, but hopefully you got to see a different side of me outside of tutorials and investing and talking about crypto and all that stuff, right? All that's great, but I'm human like you as well, right? Everything you go through, I go through as well. But this journey is about continual growth, challenges, and overcoming them. And hopefully we can overcome them together. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Over. Good night, good morning, adios.